Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mack Story.
Hello everyone, this is Mack. Just want to let you know I'm interrupting, not delaying, only interrupting my Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision series to provide you with a 3-part interview that I done with a person I met in 2013, Mr. Jason Denam. And he works in the electrical construction business, and he's a model and an example of why I do what I do. It's pretty cool. You're going to hear him talk about, I met him in 2013. He dove into leadership development, had never heard of it, but he dove into it like I did, got crazy with it, started investing in himself, developing himself. Within a year, he had doubled his income. From 2013 to today, 2019, he's more than tripled his income. That's what I'm trying to help you do. Grow and develop yourself. Climb in the same company, go to a different company, I don't care. Make it happen. Hope you enjoy this 3-part series with Jason, and Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision will be back Friday as scheduled. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. Today we're on part 3 with this series with my friend Jason Denam. And if you hadn't listened to part 1 and part 2, you need to go back and check those out. That's where I really introduced him, got Rhea on the line with us. She doesn't talk too much on here, but she's kind of hanging back in the shadows. Hey, Rhea.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone.
We don't know what time of the day it might be when they're listening to it.
That's right.
Jason, welcome back for part 3. And I know last time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And, I mean, you're doing a privilege. I guarantee you this episode's going to be, people are going to like listening to this because it's real, it's authentic. And you talked about your journey, and you talked about how it helped you at work as someone who's just learning this stuff, someone who's growing up the chain, and you're pretty high up in the organization now. You're reporting to the owner, president, top dogs, and I mean, you've climbed a long way, and now you're teaching it to others and getting great results. But you wanted to share something about a title. What was that about?
Yeah, so we had a little transition change with my current employer just a little while back, and I told him I when I had made my new cards, I had a manager position on the end. And, I mean,
on your business card?
On my business card at work, I was going to be a manager. So I told him I didn't want that manager on my business card anymore. He kind of looked at me funny, but he changed it for me. He changed it. So now I'm a team leader, man. I'm a team leader. So I'm the team leader of my whole division, but that's my title, the team leader. So
that's a big team. It ain't just a little team.
Yes, sir. Yes, the big team. That's the big team. Like I said, I have office staff and field staff all reporting to me now. So, yeah, it's great, man. It's great just to be able to have a guy that, work for a guy that let me do that too, man, and change it. Because this title has been set for a long time, and a lot of people carry the title that I went away from to become the team leader. So that's this title. And one other thing, and I do away with the titles on my emails and everything I send to, because people get caught up on titles, man. And I don't like to have a title, because when you put a title out there, people feel, they feel like they're up under in the food chain. They react like that. I want everybody to think we're all on the same level playing ground.
That's pretty cool right there. I remember when you shared that story not too long ago. That's pretty cool. You've grown so much in leadership that you don't like that title of manager, because you want to be a leader of people, not a manager of people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's good stuff. I know Bob Chapman, who's the CEO of Barry Waymiller. They're like a $3 billion company, 12,000 people, 100-something locations around the world or whatever. And they don't use the word manager. Bob don't like it, and because what it really means relative to people. I mean, we have to manage things and processes, and we all need to be a good manager of those things. But on the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast, In my books, we're talking about people. And when it comes to people, manager does not even need to be a word related to anything to do with people. But that's what most people do. They manage people as leaders. So I ain't going to get into teaching. I get talking too much, Jason. You know, I'll start talking and teaching leadership. This is about you, though. But you just read my new book. You got it like right out of the gate in Blue Collar Leadership and Culture, 5 components for building high-performance teams. So just talk about that book and what it meant to you, whatever you want to say about that book. And I may ask you some things, but you read a lot of leadership books, a lot of mine. You know, Rhea and I got 23 books. You read a lot of them, and you read a lot of other books by other people. Why should somebody else read that book? What'd you get out of it?
Anybody, college, man, it just opens your mindset. I mean, it works for every level person, really, to let you know where you're at and what you need to do to move forward. It's a roadmap, man. It's great, this roadmap of letting you know what you need to do to facilitate in your company if you want to move forward, if you want to stand out. I mean, it talks about, you know, your competition, you against your character, you know, your character of the next company you're going against. That's the real competition. I mean, you know, the culture, you're going against a company and y'all two of the same companies, y'all do two of the same things. The company with the highest culture is going to get the work. And that's what you talk about, building a team that has the culture that's valued. You want to be employer, sought after employer, employer's choice, someone that somebody wants to work for. You know, you talk about how, people saying it's hard to find good people. Well, you got to attract good people. You can't find good people. So they working somewhere. They have good jobs already. But, some of them, you got some good people and it's hitting glass bottoms that wants an employer choice. And, I mean, that book just, for me, at the level I'm at now, I thought it was more of a company owner, but it was tremendous for me, too, even in 6 years into leadership, because it kind of helped me see some more navigation on what I need to do. Like, I'm going to get myself certified to do this, and I'm going to add that value to myself. I've been trying to get that value added by others, but I haven't got it, but that's something I'm going to do myself. So it just creates a roadmap on how you can move forward.
Okay, so you're talking about the certification that I offer, where you can basically you pay $1,000 and pick a book title, and you get a license from me and a e-training kit's what I call it. It comes with a big kit of participant guides and facilitator guides and how to lead book studies, and it's just a whole kit of stuff. That's you and I have been talking about it. That's what you're saying. You're gonna get a license to teach certain content. You ready to? You ain't waiting on someone else to invest in you. You're gonna get that stuff where you can cascade it on down to other people.
Yes, sir. Like I'm currently, like I said, I'm currently a master electrician in the state of Alabama and the state of Texas. So I want to get me a little certification on the leadership too, man. That's another way of adding, get my character. I got pretty high confidence, man, so I had to keep boosting the character on the character side and keep doing everything I could do, man, to keep excelling in life, man. Because as long as I keep pushing that character, I know I can excel.
Yeah. Which book are you going to get licensed in?
I'm going to do the Blue Book, the Supervision book, and the Teamwork book.
You're going to do three of them?
Yeah, I got to have 3, man. I need 3. I got to do 3. And those 3 right there, because that for my team and my guys at work, and I can give leadership, so I can do more than just the book study, so I can get the whole kit and everything you provide. That way I can give people work sheets and stuff to take home, and that way they have more reference than just reading. So after teaching then, because what I do now is just book studies. We just read and have group discussions, and that's good, but I want to really start the development of my guys, and then I'm going to be where I can do that. Okay.
So the books you're talking about, just for the folks listening, you're talking about Blue Collar Leadership, Leading from the Front Lines, which is really how to lead yourself well, how to become a high-impact individual. And then the other one you said, Blue Collar Leadership, Teamwork, 30 Traits of High-Impact Players, which is all about how to be while you're doing what you do, regardless of what position you're at. And then Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision, Unleash Your Team's Potential, which is really how to lead others well, how to become a high impact leader. And for those listening, if you're not familiar with that, you can go to bluecollarleadership.com/certifications, or just look at the Get Certified menu button up at the top. When you go to bluecollarleadership.com, you can learn all about that. And so that's pretty cool, Jason, because you're gonna be loaded up. And tell me, if you were, as a top level leader, because I want people to understand the value of doing what you're about to do to yourself. So now let's say you're the leader, which you are in the big organization you're in. But let's say there's leaders out there who want to come work for you. So they're applying to work for you. Have you ever seen any leader apply to work in your company who had any kind of certification like this?
No, sir. No,
what if
sir,
they
I've never
did?
seen it.
How big a deal would it be for somebody like you who values this? How big a deal would it be if you saw somebody, they turned in their application and then they had a resume that said they were certified to teach this stuff?
Oh my God!
Would you want to talk to them?
I hired immensely, man. I hired immensely.
It's a huge way to increase.
If anybody come in my office with leadership, any type of leadership development training, and they're gonna be hired, man. They're gonna be hired to work with me, and that's a no-brainer. I mean, in any employer, if you go to any employer, you got two of the same people. You can have two master electricians standing right beside each other, and one of them can add value to your guy's character and have leadership. You don't even have to be teaching leadership. You can just have books, and I did that. That's probably, and when I made my transition from Alabama to Texas, on my resume to my first company in Texas, I had the 6 or 7 books I had read on my resume.
Who told you to do that?
I think that was you, Mr. Mack.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think we talked about it. I mean, we talked. That it's just because it's something that is value added to my resume. I mean, it stood out, and it also got me a deal that I would imagine, and the company paid me to relocate and everything out of and so I had the master license, obviously, and leadership development training. I put that I had the 160 hours or whatever that Mack had done on my resume, and like I said, I got paid relocation and everything.
It's separated. So let's go back to that right quick, because we talked about earlier in a different episode that in 6 years since you met me and you dove into leadership, and I don't get the credit. You had to read these books. You had to change yourself and your values and your life, and maybe I get the credit for introducing you to it, but you had to do the work. But we talked about in 6 years, you've more than tripled your income in 6 years. But I remember when you went out there and you basically doubled your income, but from 2013 to when you went out there, you got into this stuff. You didn't get a quarter an hour raise or 50 cents or $1. You more than doubled your income within how fast? You heard this stuff in 2013. You started diving into it. How quick was it? You literally had doubled your income.
So I moved out here in 2014.
So somewhere between a year and a half?
Year and a half. I doubled my income. Yes, sir.
In a year and a half.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And that's what I tell people. Some people don't believe this stuff, though, do they, Jason? They think it's a bunch of hocus pocus, bunch of fairy dust. Mack just trying to tell me this stuff, sell me some books, blah, 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 and they don't ever do nothing, and they can't get a quarter an hour raise, can they?
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, we add value. Anytime you add value to yourself, you add value. You want to be a high quality product, and that's why I continue to develop my character and my competency. I tried not to, and I'm not going to ever let my competency be higher than my character. And my competency is pretty high right. My competency is pretty high right now, though. So I have to keep pushing, man. That's why I want to get certified. I'm going to get certified, and then where I can actually, get guys. I want guys to be like me. Because unless they're introduced to it, there's no companies that's really training guys on leadership development. I mean, of course, you get a company that come in and go do a big workshop, but like you said, Mr. Mack, that's drink down the fire hose, man. You can't teach leadership development in one session, in 2 sessions. It's continuous. It's like
important.
Sharpen the saw. Yeah, like Dr. Covey says, you got to sharpen the saw, and that's leadership, you got to keep doing it. And that's part of the reason that I devoted doing my book studies, because it's for me too, just as much as for my guys, because it allows me to develop myself. Yes, sir.
It also allows you to hold yourself accountable to them because you're teaching them how you want to be. And it's easy for us to slip up. Even if we value this stuff, we still get it wrong. But the more people we get around us who understand who we are and what we're trying to become, they can help us get better. Because when you commit to them, you're teaching that stuff, you feel much more obligated to be living it, I bet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have to. I mean, you say to yourself, and you're surrounded with people that can help you, because, you know, like you said, everybody falls, everybody slips, but if you surround yourself with people that like you and they developing their mindset like you, they're going to be more apt to, you know, help you when you start to fall and help you out in that area. So, you know, it's a team, it's a group thing, it's a team effort.
That's awesome. So, Blue Collar Leadership and Culture, when we talk about that book, you know, for the folks who don't know about it, I wrote that book. Really, I wrote it for the top leader. But any leaders are going to learn a lot, and especially the further down the chain you are, so say in the org chart, you start learning about this stuff that's in that book, you're going to start being elevated up that org chart if you start applying it and sharing it with leaders. But the whole thing about that book is for those leaders of companies who want to become become the sought-after employer in their industry and in their area of operations. And, you know, you read the book, Jason, and you've been following, but if a company was really living what's in that book, if the top leader was doing what's in that book and cascading it down and filling his organization up with people who have a mindset like yours, from the bottom entry-level position all the way to the top owner, leader, CEO, whatever you want to call them, everybody in between, if somebody's really doing that and the rest of their industry is not doing that, what's competition going to be like back and forth?
It's going to be like the competition between Chick-fil-A and Burger King, man. You know, both of them sell chicken sandwiches, but, you know, everybody going to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A sells way more than everybody else, and because of their leadership. Every time you come through the line, it's real friendly.
You think Burger King and I ain't gonna say Burger King. That was your thing. There's nothing wrong with you saying it, but it's the truth, right? These other Chick-fil-A doing things different, and I ain't gonna just say Burger King because it's not just one company, but all these other fast food industries, they know they're chasing Chick-fil-A. They know it. They look across the street and see it. At lunch, Chick-fil-A's got cars wrapped around the corner and see. And you're talking about this. All these different fast food organizations are trying to be like Chick-fil-A. They all have money. They have millions of dollars to invest. They got teams. They got consultants. They got stuff. But what they have is collectively they don't have the character, the culture that the Chick-fil-A company, the people have. Is that what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely. It's just the feeling you get inside. I mean, you got some of them in one back. I used to live down in one in Auburn. They used to come out and have an umbrella and take you out to your car when it's raining, man. You know,
I remember that.
You pull up and wait. You know, at Chick-fil-A out here, you know, they automatically give you a free meal for the next time if they don't have your order. I mean, doing all kind of stuff to go out the way. It makes you feel good inside, and then when you, as a company, as an employee, if you can do that to your people and the people, not only your employees, but the vendors and your customers, if they want to work for you, they're going to pay a little higher premium because of your culture. They'll pay a little higher premium for your culture.
Yeah, they'll be glad to get it. They'll be glad to pay a little more and to get what you got to offer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If they feel like when they work with a company and they don't have to deal with all the riffraff and all the negativity and you know, got somebody that's morally that's going to do the right thing, man, and trying to, you know, be positive and trying to work together with people and be a team builder instead of, you know, everything negative, man, they're going to want to go to that company all day, and you're more apt to. I got customers now in my current employer who comes just to me to get their work done, and they don't take bids from any other contractor, and that's just, you know, due to how I treat my people. I mean, I treat everybody, you know, with high respect and do what's right even when ain't nobody looking.
That's good stuff, man. That's real good stuff. And so you can see when you read that culture book, my book, Blue Collar Leadership and Culture, you can see how in there, and I believe I mentioned it in there, that I'm trying to help other organizations, other industries
to kind of become the Chick-fil-A of their industry. Could you see that and feel that as you was reading?
Oh yeah, Mr. Mack, that's my famous phrase, man. I always say it. I tell everybody. That's been my goal. Even I know Chick-fil-A is a restaurant, but in my journey becoming why I wanted to go to the top and the level, I always say it, I want to run the electrical companies. I want to run the Chick-fil-A of electric companies. And that's my goal, and I will do that. I will have the Chick-fil-A of electric companies, not manage it, but lead that company. That's the goal, man. I want the electric company I work for to be like Chick-fil-A, and everybody want to come to us, and because of the experience and the chicken. Everybody can make chicken, but the experience of getting the chicken, that's what counts.
You're exactly right. I mean, that's awesome. So you telling me you think it's a lot easier to compete when you're attracting great people instead of searching for good people?
Oh yeah. Just like you said in your book, man. Your book spells it out. You gotta attract great people, man. They ain't just out there laying around. I mean, you got the people out there that you don't want. Those are the ones that's laying around. So yeah, you got to be an employer of choice, man. In that book, I mean, if you're a company owner and you read the culture book and you're not moved by it, then you might be successful, but you'll never be an employer of choice. And it's just point blank, period. I mean, it's just facts, because you don't have your inside. Your character level won't develop high enough to move you forward like your competition. If your competition comes in town and does that and develops the people and have high character, the business is closed.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what's going on now. That's what Chick-fil-A does different. They do character different. All the rest of them, they all have the competency to cook, to build a building, to run the business. All that's the competency side. What separates Chick-fil-A is the character, and you can see it. You can go to an intersection that's got 4 different fast food restaurants on it, and I've talked to some of these other folks in these other restaurant businesses, and they'll be on the same corner or across the corner and saying they can't find good people. And the Chick-fil-A owner over there, when they have an entry level position open, one of the owners told us they get 250 applications. And also they got really, really great people inside who are referring other really, really great people from the outside, because who we are is who we attract, right?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
Tell me real quick about the teamwork book. I know you like that one.
Oh yeah, I like teamwork book, Blue Collar Bob, man. He came in. I like how in that book, and that's why I'm gonna take my guys through that book. It tells a story. It lets you know. It shows you a transition of an actual inside of a company, and you tell it in the story mode with the Blue Collar Bob, man, and how they started putting quotes on the board and how it developed just from one quote on the board in the room. It just developed, spark conversation, man, and how Blue Collar Bob developed, man, and how it just changed the office, the whole organization, man. It just everybody started putting quotes. I mean, it's a great book on telling you how, from an outside looking inside of an organization, how it can change your culture.
Yeah, all those books, all of my books support the culture book, right? The culture tells you why you should do it. Blue Collar Leadership and Culture says why you should do it, what you should do, and then how you should do it. And I reference my other books. It's like a tool and a guide. But all these other books are really how you do it, right? The book you're talking about is Blue Collar Leadership and Teamwork, 30 Traits of High-Impact Players. And there's people who would read that book and see the story about Blue Collar Bob in there, how he was impacted and changed and got on board and think, yeah, that sounds good in this book, but that ain't how it really works. But it could work like that because you've been through it. Does that seem like a bunch of fluff to you, or that seems like for real?
Oh man, that's exactly how it goes. That's why I was so interested in calling upon the story, man. That's because you create that spark, man. You got to start somewhere. So, just a quote can move somebody, and quotes get deep, man, and thought, and you get to thinking and thinking of that person's mindset when they wrote that quote. So, it's great, man. But you have to have that spark. You have to have something. That's the problem with so many companies now, man. I've been trained at every company I've ever worked for my competency. But only one company I worked for has trained me on leadership. Like formally
transform your life.
They brought a company in. They brought you in, Mr. Mack, and you came in and taught us over, I forgot how many weeks, but that changed my life, man, forever, and it impacted some other people. But some other people got away from it, and it went the wrong way, and that's an example of sharpening salt, man. It's something you got to continue to do. So if you have a leadership event this year and you don't take it back into your organization and continue to do it, then, you really just, you shot the people in the mouth with a fire hose. You didn't let them actually drink. They didn't get enough to drink, man. So you got to continuously do it. I mean, the big events, that's great. Bring it in, let's do workshops, that's great. But you have to be doing it inside your organization to get the true effect. And that's what the culture book makes you realize. That's why I love the culture book, man. It's going to be so eye-opening for so many business owners that don't know how and don't know where to start. I mean, that book's going to let you know where to start, what to do, what resistance you're going to have. I mean, you got to get everybody to buy in. It breaks down everything. I wish I would have had that book on my earlier journey. I mean, I know you said it's for the top level leaders, but man, I needed that book too, man. It was great for me to read that book. And another couple that change happens you have, man. That was a good book for me during some of the transitions I was making, because it kind of spells everything out for you. I think that's the one you and Rhea wrote together. Y'all co-authored that book. Yeah, and I listened to it on Audible, so you had two different. So that was great. I get all my books and I buy them the hard copy, and I get the Audible so I can listen to when I ride, because that's what I listen to. I don't listen to music. I listen to music on Fridays going home, and other times I'm pretty much listening to some type of leadership development or some of my church stuff. Yep,
that's awesome, man. So I got about a minute or so here, maybe 2 minutes at the most. We got to wrap this up, but man, you shared some values with my blue collar leadership audience, man. I'm so proud of you. You know that, you hear it all the time, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and add value to my network and with your story, because people hear me talk about it all the time. They think I'm just trying to sell them something. I'm trying to help them have a better life, like I did you. I'm about to get stirred up right here for a minute, but what anybody listening to this, what they just heard Jason describe over these last 3 episodes, that is what I'm trying to do for you. But I can't do it for you. You got to do it for you. Jason just told you. He went and did it. He did the work. He's still doing the work. He listens to the radio on Fridays. The rest of the days he's in his car or truck, he's listening to this kind of stuff on audios. It's the way I did it. It's the way that Rhea does it. It's powerful, but you got to do the work. So got about a minute, Jason, for you, if you want to throw 1 minute in, 30 seconds, last message, and we got to go.
All right. Well, I just advise anybody out here listening, like I said before, man, you stuck, you don't know where to go, set yourself apart, man. Start developing your character. Always keep your character higher than your competency. You can keep your character higher than your competency, you'll always be an employee of choice. And when you be an employee of choice, you'll have the better opportunity to get promotions, get the raises, and better opportunity to gain a title. But remember, when you gain your title, become a leader. Stay a leader. Don't get caught up in the titles. Don't ever think you're better than the guys that work under you. Keep it a level playing ground, and then your influence will be greater. So, yeah, don't get caught up on the title.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason. And anybody who wants to reach out to Jason, his email is JasonDenam@gmail.com. So that's JasonDenam@gmail.com. And thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. And if you want to learn about this stuff, go to bluecollarleadership.com, and there's all kind of information out there. So thank you. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen, or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mack Story's Blue Collar Leadership Series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mack's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.